our live show. Today, I am joined by three heavy hitters. We've got Andrew Erickson here, we have Kevin King here, and we have Yoni from Gatita. And I'm really, really excited because the amount of brain and firepower that you see before you on this screen is remarkable. Now, one thing that we all have in common is we were in Seattle, and we were in Seattle at Accelerate, where Amazon proper hosted us. I think it was a $22 million event. Is that right, guys? It was massive. There were 5 stories, and there we went to the Space Needle. I mean, it was a big thing. But I'd love to start off. Let's kick this off, and let's talk a little bit about the state of Amazon and any observations that you guys had from interacting with Amazon proper, because that was just about a week ago. Let's start with Kevin. Let's go, Kevin.
Yeah, it was a good event. I mean, with about 2,600 sellers or something thereabouts. So there's a lot of really good crowd, really good networking. The event itself, the presentations, they announced a whole lot of new things. I spent most of my time in the networking room. It was hard for me to listen to scripted presentations. But and everybody just reading on the stage was difficult. But the information is good, but it's just difficult to sit through that stuff. Yeah, they announced a ton of new things. I think they do it in like 5 different categories or 6 different categories. Everything from a whole big inclusive initiative to the shipping, the new shipping stuff that they're doing, to a lot of they incorporating some AI in some of their tools, which I'm hearing is a little rough right now. But I think they'll get that. I'll get that down. I think they'll get that down. Yeah, a whole bunch of new partner programs, a whole bunch of new advertising stuff. I don't have the list in front of me, but it was a lot of really good, moving in the right direction stuff.
Love it. Love it. Andrew, any high level ideas that you got coming to Accelerate?
Yeah, I mean, Amazon's moving and shaking. The big thing, like Kevin mentioned, that they're pushing AI stuff. Kevin nailed it. That it's kind of rough, but they're pushing it, which is really interesting for us if you are an American or a Western seller. It's going to be very interesting to see how this really changes how we compete with non-English speaking countries. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that happens. There's even talk of getting rid of the ability to even edit your own listing, that they would just have AI. You kind of would just describe it and then the AI does it all for you, which I do not want at all.
And then it takes away from being punchy and really leaving some space for like creativity and innovate instead of having just Amazon innovate for you completely. So that's a touchy spot.
Yeah, I'm not into that. I love AI. I'm super into AI.
They'll get a lot of push. Yeah, if they do that, there'll be a massive amount of pushback, and there'll be a lot of sellers. You'll see seller sales plummet if they do that.
Yeah, for sure. They're pushing a lot of. They're trying to help the supply chain. They're trying to at least help the supply chains. They're coming out with more resources for AGL and AWD, the Amazon Global Logistics and Amazon Warehousing Services. So it's effectively a freight and warehouse for you. Although it's still mixed results on those things, but they're pushing it a lot. So that's going to be a big change and a big interesting thing to see come out in the next few months.
Love it. Yoni, feedback from Accelerate.
Yeah, Amazon went Hollywood on the industry with the budgets. So it's big, right? It's like, and it was perfectly polished. And when they stand on stage, it's all pre-rehearsed and everything. So that's all cool. But like Hollywood, this is the sequel, because last year was the first, show they did in person physically. And that was a nice hit, a lot of value, a lot of new announcements that were like kind of groundbreaking. This year is the sequel. It's like, they're kind of connected, like at least on the logistics side, the global logistics. Last year they announced about AWD, Amazon Warehouse and Distribution, where basically you can send from the factory to their warehouses in the United States, and those warehouses can ship it to Macy's if you do wholesale, or they can ship it to Costco, or can drip it into FBA. That was kind of the innovation there. The results were mixed, and here this year they're saying, oh, now we want next level. We're gonna basically improve that. That's the way Amazon is saying in the nicest way possible. Where we're going to improve that, and they want to create from factory to consumer solutions, which means you source it whatever factory, then they can ship it around the world with AGL, Amazon Global Logistics. They can store it wherever it is. They can then do wholesale to your clients if you do any wholesale, or of course if you do FBA, that goes all the way to the consumer. So considering that you do FBA, it's really from the factory all the way to the consumer. Anywhere between, they want to be involved. So it's like frictionless and turnkey. That's the promise. That's the vision. It's not there yet, but this event, they're saying we're working towards getting there. That's on the logistics side. There's a few more signals and messages, in my opinion, that Amazon is bringing out there on a few fronts. On the one front is, I'll start from the easier side, to the customers, right, the consumers, and the sellers. They want to kind of create more alignment or more ability for the sellers to understand what's going on. So they said, okay, we got the customer loyalty analytics, a new dashboard for that. We got the voice of the customer, a new dashboard for that. Customer sentiment insights, new dashboard for that. So you can understand a bit more better what's going on with the consumers and your ASINs and your brands. So that's, once again, like David said, Kevin said, it's a step towards the right direction. But I think the biggest signal overall, which will be most important for anybody watching this or listening to this, is that they're really opening up to the sellers to connect with them. They have the seller cafe where the sellers can come in and throw all their problems and challenges on Amazon and their teams. And they try to figure out, oh, this is really that team, and that team member is actually here face to face, meet, talk, connect, and see what's going on. And hopefully a lot of these interactions will, in the next few weeks or months or years, will create a better environment for the sellers. And that is really the biggest message or opportunity that I humbly think there is with this event.
Yeah, I know a guy, speaking of that, Gatita, there's a guy I met from, he flew in from somewhere in Asia. I forget where it was for the event. And I said, how's the event? And he's like, it's okay. But he said, my value here is I represent a bunch of brands, and I went to the Seller Cafe. They solved some they couldn't solve a couple of my problems, but they could up it the chain send it up the chain the right way. But he said several of them he solved on the spot for my clients that I've been working on for like 6 months trying to get these things resolved with seller support. He said, I'll fly back next year just because of that.
Wow.
And bring a list and say, I'll bring a list of, I'll book. He said, I'm going to book Seller Cafe appointments all day long. I'm just going to book them up, and I'll fill them with issues from my clients and solve all these problems all in one swoop.
That was our biggest win by far. Unfortunately, not a good win to share with the people who are watching us, but maybe for next year, meeting. So the Amazon employees were everywhere, and they're very open to connecting with us, which was really nice. In fact, they would even kind of grab us if we're walking by. They just kind of grab us to talk about their little shtick thing, whatever their little thing. So we talked to a lot of freight people and logistics people, and compliance people was great for us. We do toys. So I took 2 selfies and became best friends with 2 of the compliance people. And I'm like, I'm going to call you. I guarantee I will call you in the next 12 months because we always have issues. Even though we're extremely compliant, you guys sometimes don't accept our paperwork. So that stuff was great.
Love it.
But keep in mind, one last thing about that is that so the sellers watching this and they think they can get value, when you come, you got to keep on coming, because Amazon is famously known for having their team members change roles every 2-3 years. So whoever you know now and it's helping you, you better keep coming, because they're going to change their roles and you want to build a relationship with the next runner-up. So that's just really part of the game. So go ahead, Athena.
Love that. Well, I would love to switch topics a little bit. Kevin, you have been hosting and attending events all over the world for what, 9 years when it comes to like Amazon.
Yeah, something like 7 or 8 years. Yeah,
7 or 8 years. I've seen and been to a lot of them with you.
I've almost been doing it as long as you.
I know, right?
I'm trying to catch you.
You're so funny. So
that's what I call him, the king.
That's right. So then I've got Yoni here again, who is just a legend in our industry and what Gatita provides in terms of being able to I actually referred someone to you yesterday. He's never run any reimbursements on his account. The guy does a few million a year. Like, it's going to be basically a holiday for him, So, and then Andrew, I mean, you not only are a seller yourself, you've exited, you've gone again, and you also host our 2 levels. You host our guys doing $1 million and above. You also host our guys doing $3 million and above. And every week you're bringing so much value to them. You won top AI brain, I guess you'd call it, in the hackathon on, so I really have a lot of knowledge, experience, hands-on with sellers and yourselves. So this really is a very powerful little panel that we have right now. And what I want to bring up is sort of in this day and age, where where should people go for the most impact, the most value, just based on what you guys are seeing? I'd like to just go around, and if you were talking to a seller, this guy is a serious seller or this gal, and you're saying, you know, here's some advice from me to you based on everything I'm seeing, based on the patterns, based on my experience, what would you really want them to know about, talk about? Yes, we talked a little bit about Accelerate, but I'm more interested in just the amount of people that you connect with on the daily. There really isn't that many people in the industry that connect with as many people as the three of you. So let's go around in a circle, and we'll start with Kevin.
Yeah, the thing is join a group. Whether you know what Titan's a great group. There's
You
other
stole my thunder, man.
there's other groups out there, but it's not just join the group. It's join a subgroup within that group. And so I know Titan has their deals where it's, you know, you have the 1 million, 3 million, you have the different levels or whatever, which is great. But even within that, if you know, I don't know how many people, let's say there's 20 people in the $1 million group, 3 of you or 4 of you create your own little subgroup below that you have your own little channel and your own little discussions, your own little WhatsApp group, because those you can get lost even when there's 20 people. You know, you can get lost. But when you have 3 or 4, and that's where the value is. And so if you're not in Titan, or you're not at BDSS, or you're not MDS, or not any of these other groups, go and try to go to an event or meet people online and form your own little miniature mastermind where you can share what's working with each other. And that's where you're going to get the most benefit if that group is active. Now, if it's crickets in there, you know, but if you have people that are actually participating and are active, then you're going to get more from that than you're going to get from any other guru or YouTube video or webinar or anything, because these are the people in the weeds doing it day in, day out, that have some of the same issues that you have. They may have already solved a problem, and they can help you, or you can work on them together, like, oh, brainstorm together on how do we solve this problem. So I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people miss, is they just stay in their own little zone, you know, and there's no one to really talk to, because your spouse or your parents or your kids, they don't even know you're talking some foreign language. We're living and breathing this, and we want to talk to it. We want to share it with people. And we all have issues or problems or hurdles. And I think that's the best thing that anybody could do, is join a big group and then join a subgroup within that group, or create your own within that group.
Love that. You know what's really cute, Kevin? I don't think you know this, but within Titan, we actually have accountability groups that are little pods.
Oh, do you?
The group, and they're all at that level. So it was so cute that you like literally suggested what we do.
I had no idea. Okay.
I was like, yes, Kevin, great minds. I love it. Thank you so much for that. That's brilliant.
I had to give you some validation, right?
Yeah, and I'm going to go to Yoni and Andrew. And just as a plug, guys, we are doing an event in San Diego on October 6th through 8th. And we have some other ones around the world that we're going to be doing as well. And one of the best ways to do what Kevin mentioned is live in person, connecting with people and being in a setting that, even though there's a lot of value in those like 2,500, 3,000 people events, it's not as easy to connect. I think I got more out of our little Titan 50 people dinner than I did in that entire show floor, because I was actually like eating and talking and like really connecting. In fact, one of the girls contacted me today from Seattle because she had something she needed help with, and I was like right on it. I remembered her. It was like, just how much you can connect is really huge. So we actually have a surprise for you guys at the end of this regarding San Diego, but I want to go to Yoni. Yoni, it doesn't have to be about Titan. I just want, like, even when it comes to like the stuff that you guys do in Gatita, like, I want these sellers to win, and I want to provide as much of a platform for people to win, whether they're Titan or not, whether they're, you know, going to, you know, $1 billion selling or not, or Gatita or not. Like, we want to provide value just in general on how can these guys continue to win, because what we need a strong industry in general, so that, you know, people have success. So what would you recommend, or what would you suggest based on the position you're in?
Yeah, so the position that we're in, the reality that it creates is that we've hyper focused on, you know, solving a specific issue. That issue is the FBA discrepancies. So when you sell, you know, you send products to Amazon, some of those products or units will get lost, damaged, destroyed, disappeared, overcharged with fees. Incredibly enough, we're scattered the world. Most sellers are not even aware of this situation, this problem. So if you've never heard of it, check it out, read about it, Google it. You Google FBA discrepancies, or just go to Gatita.com. There's an ocean of knowledge over there about the situation. We're happy to educate you free of charge, how to deal with it, how to do it, so you can really get your own refunds and pay nobody anything. But of course, if you ever want our help, you can join us. It's free to join. There's no subscription. We don't charge anything up front. We only charge a fee based on recovery or performance. Only for successful getting you recovery, only then you pay us. And of course, we prepared a special offer for the Titan community, so you guys can check that inside the platform, the Titan platform. You'll see all about it. So that's the niche that we're in. That's the problem that we solve, and that's what we live in. But the second function is just education, because we educate in our niche, but beyond that, we educate on this. We support education for sellers everywhere we can in the world, because the more they're educated, guess what? They just become more successful. That's the science. That's the math. It's and if you so that's another layer, and the top layer of all to cover it all on top is that it's not only what you know, it's also who you know. That's where those communities come into play, because your communities, once you're part of that environment, that's not my phone though, so I apologize. So once you're part of those environment, you gotta know it. So I really think about school for me. So when I was growing up, I was getting all this knowledge in school. That's great, but I made friends for life, and these friends still carry me. They give me a lot of values, a lot of confidence, right? And everywhere, so I did elementary, high school, university. So these people that I know really shape me. So in this industry, if you're able to come to a group, an environment, and a community, and of course learn, get all this knowledge, but then bond, like Kevin was saying, with one or two or a few, but even one or two or three can do the trick, and that you carry each other for years. That is a magical ride, and that is extremely valuable. So if you're in that position where you kind of got into this game, you saw a video and you figured it out, and it's all good, congratulations. But probably if you want to increase your chances of survival or thrive in this environment, do yourself a favor, go to events, check out communities, learn the knowledge, but try to create a few good bonds that will carry you for years and years, and it will just be a sweet ride for you. So that's kind of how I package Getira into all this layering of helping sellers.
Sorry, I was muted because my phone kept going off. Thank you so much for that, Yoni, and the amount of support that you give our community is tremendous, and we really appreciate it. So thank you for that. Andrew. So talk to me. I want you to get a little geeky from here. Talk to me about like AI, some of the crazy stuff that you've been testing, some of the cool stuff that you guys have been doing in your groups and stuff, because I think that's like really, really edgy. People are really benefiting a lot.
AI stuff is really cool. I mean, I think everyone's kind of seen the news. Everyone's seen all these different warnings or
Congress hearings. I think there was a hearing a few weeks ago.
Exactly. Yeah. And so the cool thing is that this stuff is revolutionary, right? So I'm going to go on record that Q1 of this year, we're going to have the before times and the after times. We're now living in the after times of AI, right? Particularly ChatGPT 4, which is the paid version, $20 a month for the paid version. The free version is also very good. And
with DALL-E 3 coming into it in the next week or two, it's going to be game changing. What's about to happen with DALL-E 3, it's going to be game changing.
So yes, and so the cool thing is that we can now we can have someone else that we can bounce ideas off of. Not one human, but one intelligence we can bounce ideas off of, right? So what we're doing is we're using this to ideate for new products. We're saying, here are the negative reviews. Please suggest us solutions to these negative reviews. That works really well. Here's our niche. Give us more ideas in this niche. We're also using it for social media. So we're taking we have this whole process of how we find influencers, and we can use AI to comment on all these different social media platforms. And we have people in the Philippines who are good English speakers, but not necessarily in our niche, but they can talk to the people in our niche very well because they're using the AI to assist them. And then finally, we have this entire we built out this entire like 60 email sequence for every part of our product chain, like everything: welcome series, launch series, content series, follow-up series, upsell, blah, blah, blah. 60 email set that we use AI to modify for us. And that's one of the things we're going to be talking about in San Diego. Is I'm going to be taking that 60 email set and show you guys how you can use AI, take my template, plug in your avatar, and then you have an entire thing all set up for you.
So it's one sequence with 60 hits or 60 different sequences?
60 different emails in like, I guess, a dozen
sequences.
20 sequences. 20 sequences with a 1
5
to
touch. Yeah, 4 to 5 touches. Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So that's the fun AI stuff. I had 2 more answers to your original question too.
Yes, please. Go for it. The floor is yours, Andrew.
That was a good AI prompt, right? But I was gonna follow up with what Kevin and Yanni said, which was yes, live events are amazing. Yes, join a group. That's a great place to connect with people. The one thing I do want to say that is the big thing I always harp on, which is my catchphrase, ABL, ABL, ABL. This is what I think you should be doing for your business. This is what grows your business. If you're selling products on Amazon, ABL, ABL, ABL.
Always be launching, just for the ones of you who needs that.
Always be launching, always be launching, always be launching. So just more products. That's my key. That's my thing I like doing. I know some people disagree with me, but that's what we do.
If this finance video, it would be like asset-based lending, but just, ABL.
Yeah.
I hear that with other investment stuff that I hear. So ABL like lives in 2 worlds with my brain. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
And then that goes for not just products, that goes for social media too. You should always be launching on social media. You should always be throwing out content. What was it? I think Gary Vaynerchuk told a group of Amazon sellers one time, like, if you're doing $1 million a year and not sending out at least 12 pieces of content a day, you're missing the opportunity. And he's like, some of those, you should be 12 on TikTok, 12 on Facebook, 12 on wherever.
A day.
A day.
Wow. And
he said,
only when you have AI, you can do that kind of scale.
Yeah, AI will help you do that and format it and create the whole thing. When he said this about a year ago, AI wasn't the hot thing and people were having to do this manually or with some programs. But now you can automate a lot of this. But it's the thing is, on his rationale is like, yeah, some of these are going to get 50 views, some of them get 60 views, some of them get 300, but one of them's going to hit 10,000, another one's going to hit 500,000. You don't know which one it's going to be. He said, just right now, take advantage. He said, there's never been a better time than right now to take advantage of these algorithms and this organic reach that you can't get with social. It's going to tighten up. It's going to get more expensive, just like Amazon PPC has gotten more expensive. He's like, maximize it now. And just so always be launching. It's not just products. It should be social media too.
Something's going to get viral. Yeah.
You know what works really well? That's very specific and actionable for people listening. That's what you just said, Kevin. So I know whenever I talk about email marketing, a lot of people they don't have a list, they don't have the thing, they just don't do it, which I get. You should totally do it, but I get if you don't have a list. What you can do though, if you're just a regular Amazon seller selling all your stuff on Amazon, Amazon posts, post.amazon.com. Just put a bunch of pictures on there, use AI to caption them, right? So we post 3 times per day. And we have a VA who just like captions everything through using AI, and we post on there, and we get so much traffic from that. We get so many clicks and so many buys from that. It's totally free, and it looks super cool. So that's one. If you've never done that before, post.amazon.com. Go and just set up some stuff this week.
Are you guys doing anything with Titan? I'm sorry, in Titan with TikTok? Got my T's mixed up there.
Yeah. So it's fun. We have this guy named Rafe, and he's this like huge, just awesome social media whiz guy. He's from Australia. And he has this whole course on how you reach out to influencers. And that's a big thing that's been a big win for us in Q2 and Q3. Right now on TikTok, you can do product for post, right? Which is a thing we used to do like 5 years ago on Instagram. They don't do it anymore. That just means you can give free product to people. And people will make videos because they need TikTok influencers need usually a video per day is kind of like standard for being an influencer. So you just send them a product and they'll do a little 15-second video, right? And what's a product cost? Like $5 landed and $8 shipping. So we're talking $10-$20 to ship something to somebody. And then you can so they'll post it. Sometimes you strike it rich and you get hundreds of thousands or millions of views on a TikTok video with your product, and then you also get to repurpose that UGC, user generated content, and for your own stuff, and that's worked great for us.
You should run Spark ads against that too on TikTok. So you have them create that, and then Spark ads, you actually take the user generated content and you run an ad against it. Use that in your ads. They have to authorize you to do it, but then you run it against the ads, and then what? It doesn't show up. Most people don't realize it's an ad on TikTok. You're scrolling through, it's really tiny up there. So most people miss it. They just think it's organic content. And what a lot of people are doing to launch products right now, this was actually from Paul at Rankster so this is wasn't my idea, but it's a brilliant idea. is he'll go out and get 5 influencers, sit on the product just like you said. They'll do a little video on it, and then he'll take those 5 and run Spark ads. And he's saying the highest he's paying per click on Spark ads is in like supplements. It's like $1, but in most categories, it's 5 to 15 cents per click right now on TikTok, with 150 million people in the U.S., active users in the United States. And they're taking those 5 influencers, their products, and then they're running Spark ads against those, but to very small audiences. So he'll run it. You can do, it's almost like the old days of Facebook. You can do all kinds of lookalike audiences, segmentation, stuff that Facebook kind of got away with for privacy reasons. TikTok is still teetering on that, which is powerful stuff. But they'll pick an audience of say 5,000 people, and those same 5,000 people see these same 5 TikTok ads, and it keeps coming in their feed over and over and over with your product with different people, and they start going, wow, this thing must be popular. Everybody's talking about it. I need to go search for it, type in the brand name on Amazon, or buy it in TikTok Shop or whatever. And TikTok Shop right now, by the way, is about to explode. If you're not paying attention to TikTok Shop, I think you're going to miss the boat. I think it's going to pass Walmart as the second channel within a couple years. They're spending billions on it. I just had a big talk with their business development people, their main people. There's some cool stuff I can't talk about that's coming out, but they're willing to spend a fortune. And like right now for the fourth quarter, they're doing up to, if you put your product on TikTok Shop, up to a 50% rebate. So if you're selling your $20 garlic press and you put it at $10, they will give you the $10 that you gave the customer.
And free shipping.
And free shipping, and only a 2% fee instead of a 15% fee, a 2% fee. And here's the kicker: you get the customer's name and address that you don't get on Amazon.
And you can just drop ship from Amazon.
Yeah, there's a
You can
lot.
set up this afternoon.
We could do an entire 4 hours on the opportunity on TikTok. I mean, Amazon's great. Amazon's not going away. Amazon's still an awesome opportunity. But I think if TikTok gets this right, especially once TikTok Pay comes, they're going to be a serious player in this space in the next few years. They're going to have some stumbling blocks. TikTok Shop in the UK failed when they launched it over there. They messed some stuff up, but they've kind of sorted it out, and they're getting it sorted out here in the US. I think it has huge potential if they can execute this right. So be paying attention to what's happening. TikTok has all the ingredients that Amazon and Walmart wish they had. Amazon and Walmart have the brand name, they have the recognition, they have the traffic, they have the delivery systems. TikTok is developing that, but they have the entertainment audience of 150,000 highly engaged people that are watching streams.
Up to 50 million.
150 million. I said that wrong. 150 million people that they know everything about them. I always tell somebody, if you want to know somebody's personality, ask them if you can spend a minute on their TikTok feed. You'll know if that person's a pervert, if they are into cars, if they're into some sort of electronic stuff or whatever. TikTok knows that. They can start feeding products based on that, and they're going to know. It's what Amazon wants to do with Inspire or Post, but they're so far behind the ball. TikTok has that lead up, and that's a major. Don't underestimate that advantage over not having the infrastructure, the delivery systems, or whatever set up. That's easier to do than what TikTok already has.
TikTok's the only thing that I personally have actually bought stuff on. Like, I've been on Instagram for a decade now, and I don't think I've ever actually purchased anything from Instagram. On TikTok, I see that video, that 15-second, the hook problem solution, 15 seconds. I'm like, $18, click buy. It works.
It's the number one discovery platform right now for products, especially for the younger generation. They go there and they search for stuff on there, just like
it's a major top of the funnel.
Yeah.
And the cool thing that it's different about, so I love Instagram. I love it. We do lots of fun stuff on Instagram with influencers and our own social, whatever. Cool. But like the thing that's frustrating with those other platforms is they're very follower specific, or like, so you have one person and then followers kind of follow them, right? And it's kind of hard. Discovery is kind of hard on there. There's definitely discoverability, but it's a little bit harder to crack that. On TikTok, who follows whom isn't as important. The discoverability is much, much easier on TikTok. You can really, really go viral if you catch it right.
Instagram, you see, is probably the second. Instagram, I just saw yesterday that Meta, that's their biggest advertising platform now. It's not Facebook. Facebook used to be, but Instagram has surpassed Meta's, where most brands are spending their money and their efforts, which kind of surprised me. It's actually their number one moneymaker in their portfolio. over Facebook.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just saw that yesterday.
I love it. Okay, so guys, when we're in San Diego on the 6th to the 8th of October, let's talk a little bit about that and then we'll go back to this amazing conversation. So, one of the things that Kevin and I were actually talking about last night is that there is a lot of noise in the industry, right? There's a lot of events popping up everywhere and that kind of thing, but there's just a handful of them that have kind of cracked a particular, I'd say, it's a format that allows people to move the needle in the room, right? And I feel like, Billion Dollar Summit really does that. You guys have some amazing, amazing content, some amazing speakers, super, super high end. And, I've been to a few other events that I feel are extremely valuable. But one of the things that I feel that Titan really shines in is the ability to give people information and then have a workshop that they can actually use it in the room. And so I'm really excited about that happening on the 6th through the 8th. And so let's talk just a tiny bit about what we're going to be doing in San Diego. And then also, Kevin, I know that you're going to be on with Lunch with Norm. That's another announcement. I think Yoni, Andrew, you guys are going to be on with him as well. So he's going to do his 500th episode next Friday. Just wanted to give him a shout out because Norm is going to be also in San Diego bringing a ton of value. We were actually in Toronto with him, and we are kind of trailblazing a new format with these smaller events around the world. This is not our members event. This is a smaller event. And he did some really cool stuff in the room and people just could not get enough. Like there was supposed to be a working brunch. The working brunch went till 3:00. The hotel was like screaming at me. Like these guys have to end. I'm like, I know, but they're just like obsessed. And so, as I mentioned earlier, I want to bring value. I want to bring people who really help, the industry to succeed. So let's talk a little bit about that. And also, Kevin, I would love for people to reach out to you if they want to go to Hawaii, because I think that your event is one of the other ones that's just amazing. And then also, sorry, one more announcement, your newsletter. My goodness, your newsletter is hot. Everybody loves, loves, loves your newsletter. So how
BDSN, right? $1 billion sellers newsletter.
tell them how, because like you guys were talking about TikTok and different things. I think your newsletter is absolutely brilliant.
It's good. It's super good.
Yeah.
I like the MVP, like the Hall of Famers. I like that touch. Right?
The Dream 100. Yeah, I'm having people now ask me like, "Am I going to be in that? When do I get to be in that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have the list. The list is actually I got 10 spots open on there in case I miss somebody, but there's 90 of them are done and it's randomly pulled out of a hat. So there's not any order to it. So I was telling Athena yesterday, I was like, I don't want someone saying, "Well, why am I number 89? Am I like 89th in the list?" It's like, no, it's not a ranking. It's just a random out of a hat.
Just a club.
Yeah, but there's some cool stuff that's going to be coming around that I'm not announcing yet. That for the people that are inducted. So those of you listening, every Thursday, I do. So I have a newsletter that comes out on Mondays and Thursdays. It's more like a magazine than a newsletter. And the Mondays is pretty much straight up business type of stuff and actionable stuff. Thursdays is a mix of business and personal. And so on the Thursdays, one of the things I do is announce someone that's in the Dream 100, $1 billion Dream 100. And these are people that are the people that in this industry that you need to pay attention to. You need to follow, you need to listen to. They're legit. They're not the guys trying to just sell you a course or something like that. And so they're the difference makers, the movers and shakers that you need to follow. So that's what she's referring to on that.
Love it. I love it, Kevin. Okay, so how do they find how do they find your newsletter?
$1billionsellers.com. It's totally free. But it's $1billionsellers.com.
Okay, I love that.
And then I do, like you said too, I do an event. I do a virtual event in February. Those that don't like to travel, and then we do a live event, which I think you and Dan are hopefully coming to. Gatita as a sponsor of it,
Yes.
and that's in Hawaii, May 18th to the 23rd.
Do you guys come to Hawaii?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
buddy. All right, it'd be nice.
I heard. I heard a rumor that Kevin's hotel block is like kind of a special price, and that because of the fires and stuff in Hawaii, that the pricing is going through the roof. But Kevin still has like the block, but It's limited time
Yo,
only.
Kevin, we gotta get a private
Right?
jet
Is that
for
right,
the whole
Kevin?
crew to
I
come
literally
as
heard
well.
someone whispering about that at Accelerate, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta go book it right now.
That'd be so good. I love it so much. I love it so
Can we
much.
get a private jet, like 3 private jets from different regions? We do West Coast,
we should
Midwest and
actually.
East Coast.
You know what? You joke about that, but I saw someone do that. There's a mastermind group in our space that one of the guys is in Phoenix, and so they actually went to Hawaii for their own. It's like 10 guys or something like that. And I
Yeah.
saw on his Facebook he had everybody fly to Phoenix, and they rented a private jet and flew all together to the
Makes
place.
sense.
And they're showing pictures of it. I was like,
Oh,
that's a
that's so cool.
pretty cool idea.
Athena,
I
let's
love
do
that.
it. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
let's do it. Okay, done. I love it. It
We
reminds
should
me-
get from Austin. If we could all get to Austin, we get out of there with you. That'll be
love it.
a special ride.
It reminds me of
I'll
China
fly the
Magic.
wrong way so that I can come on the. I'm down. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's go. It reminds me of China Magic because every China Magic we'd all get on the same flight from Los Angeles. And I remember just like even that part was so exciting to connect with all the people and find out who's going to be on
Athena
the
doesn't sleep on those flights. She's running around the aisles, like up and down the aisles, being a social butterfly with everybody. Like, are you okay? Everything good? Did you get your meal? Did you need a
Oh my
blanket?
God. China Magic's like heaven for me. I love it so much. So yeah, that's great. Let's do a private jet for sure. And so then let's talk a little bit about San Diego, and then we'll wrap up from there. So San Diego is the 6th through the 8th, and the big idea of this is really the implementation and the moving of the needle in the room and the getting the access of the speakers, because I've just seen from the beginning of time that when people can actually speak to the guys themselves and ask questions and be interactive, it's the opposite of what you guys were talking about with Accelerate, where even though we found it to be a very valuable event, having somebody scripted up on stage isn't as valuable as being able to interact. And we did one in London and we did one in Toronto, and the feedback was just beautiful. So this is a very special format. I don't see anyone else doing it yet. And so I think it'll be really a great time. We have a very small handful of VIP tickets left. And then we have general admission. Platinum is sold out. I'm so sorry, guys. Platinum is completely sold out. So I have a very special code, but you're going to have to email me to get the code. So I'm going to just put my email here, athena@titannetwork.com. If any of you guys want to come to the event, I have a very special code, but I don't want to send it out to the whole world. So here, athena@titannetwork.com. If you email me, I will give you guys a code. We have the event. You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to do it live. Ready for this code, everybody?
First come, first serve.
Yeah, it's going to sell out so fast because we only have, I don't know, 5 or 6 VIPs. So this is going to make it so cheap. Ready? This is the code. Athena loves you. Okay, so I just dumped the link down there.
Put it on the prompter if you can. Also the
Can I? Let me try.
whatever that thing is called.
Okay, so here's the code. Athena loves you.
But you're saying it's in San Diego, but is it, or is it a special island though? What's the setup on that?
Oh, so it's called Paradise Island. And so it's in like the San Diego area, but you go over this little bridge and it looks like a whole island, and it's going to be super fun. We have a bonfire on the beach, which was actually inspired by Andrew and Jeanette. This whole thing was actually inspired by them because last year we have a beautiful San Diego meetup that these guys lead. And they did this whole like sort of extravaganza with sailing and with bonfires, and it was so much fun. I even brought.
Do you know why I hosted it like that?
Why?
Well, my wife was 8 months pregnant, and she said you cannot travel and go to events in the 3rd trimester. And I was like, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, so you know what? Instead, I'll just have 60 people come to San Diego, and that's why we had the 8 sailboats and the bonfire and everything else like that, because they're gonna be easier. It's easier to bring 60 people to me than it is to take my pregnant wife somewhere.
Yeah. Oh God, that is so funny. Well, that actually inspired me to create this around the world mastermind thing that we're doing now, because it was so San Diego. It was so fun. So when we went to London, I found the most London possible place. I mean, the whole thing, it had the guy with the red coats, there's like, it was really cool, like super London. And then in Toronto, we went to the one hotel, which was absolutely stunning. And we had a couple days, and just the quality of the speakers and the interaction and the networking was just beautiful. So now we're going to be going back to San Diego. We've got a yacht. with mimosas and breakfast burritos, because what's more San Diego than that? And then we're going to have this interactive workshop style vibes, and then we also, for the VIPs, we have a 3-hour period where we're going to be doing some speed dating, which is super cool. And I also have a panel, and this I think is extremely, extremely valuable. We have a panel of guys that have gone from 6 to 8 figures in the last 2 years. And the reason I think this is so valuable is because getting to 8 figures is fantastic. But if some of these guys started years ago when things were a little bit easier, even though that's still valuable, some of the sort of things that they were able to do back then, you can't do it now. So I was actually combing through Titan, finding guys who've had a lot of success. One guy's multi-7, but still, I mean, what he's been able to do in the surf industry with the way that he creates his vibe and the way he's just magical. So we've got legends like Kevin King and Andrew, right, and Norm and some others, and then we've got some of our Titan leaders that are going to be doing hands-on, workshop style, meeting with you guys, laptop open, kind of helping out. We've got an AI thing that's going to be super, super sexy. Kevin's going to throw down some amazing 21 hacks that everyone's like obsessed with and needs a huge notebook for. And then Norm is coming through with some of the really impressive things that not very many people are using, leveraging Google and a few other things that I think are going to be super helpful. He even was doing one thing that was just a little added bonus, and one guy implemented it and literally saved $16,000 on his next shipment just by implementing that one thing. So that's the thing that I love so much. And then we also have Rob from Gatita who's going to be there, and he's bringing somebody with him. And what I love about that is we had one guy who had already signed up for Gatita but hadn't gone deep enough. And because Gatita was present, he actually met with these guys and he found $93,000 that he wasn't aware he had there, right? And so I have all these magical people coming. I'm super excited to have Gatita there, because also what I love is when someone walks away and they're like, oh yeah, well, I went to the event, I got to write it off, I had an amazing time, I learned so much about my business, had so much fun, and I found 20 something thousand dollars I didn't realize was mine. I mean, what's better than that, And then you get to watch the sunset with the bonfires and the people and everything. So really, if there's an art in this world that I connect with, it's this event thing. And for me, it's more of a love language than anything else. And I'm always constantly trying to innovate and see what helps people and what people really respond to, and bring through the people that they really respond to. And I really can't tell you enough just how valuable it is to have Andrew, Kevin, and Yoni in our industry, because these people, they care, they're brilliant, and they've had the longevity, and they've seen what wins and what loses, and they're always, trying to add that extra value. I've seen Kevin sitting on a couch just like helping people out, mentoring them, when he could be going and having fun and grabbing a cigar and having drinks, but he's just sitting there still like wanting to impact people. Same with Andrew. My God, Andrew, the fact that you, like, even just the emails that you send after your Titan, every week he does these phenomenal Titan huddles, which is where they mastermind, right? And he does these amazing ones, and then his email afterwards, I get CC'd on it, and I'm just like, my goodness, man, you kill it. So anyway, I'm just like really obsessed with you guys and with what you provide to people, because I know it's not an easy industry, but if you know what you're doing and you do the things that you need to do, you can win. Like, for example, what Gary Vee was saying, like, if you all are broke, how many posts have you done today on these different networks? They're free to post, right? So if you're complaining that you don't have enough traffic and you've only done, one post in the last week, then why are you whining? Stop whining and get to work. I just love his, freaking get to work vibe. So anyway, that's a little bit more about San Diego.
If people are asking for the link again, Athena, that's a couple people in the chat are saying, can you post that link again? They're ready to buy a ticket. I don't know if you want to.
Sure, hon. I don't know how to get it on every single part of it. So this is the link. If you guys have any issues at all, just email me. I will literally answer it. I'll make sure you have the code, that you have everything you need. You can stay at the hotel if you want. We have a discount, but also you can use points, stay anywhere in San Diego. It's not a big deal. The cost of this event is super, super, super cheap, especially for the quality of human beings that are going to be there. You can use points, to stay. The flights are super inexpensive as well. Like, it's just, I keep using these. Okay, this is going to age me, but you guys play Mario Kart when you were kids? Did anyone? Yeah? Okay, good. So when you're playing Mario Kart, right, and you're going, and then like there's these stars right? And whenever you would get the star, like it would just give you that extra ding, 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 and then have that song and then like push you forward, right? For me, the reason we are throwing these like little events around the world is because for me, it's 100% that star. Because it's not just the content, it's not just the people, it's actually the energy and what it does to your mind. Because if you guys know that you can make it because you're around people that are making it, it shifts the way that you act and the way you react and the way that you do things. And so, yes, there's so many aspects to this that are by design. Yes, it's fun. Yes, there's great people. Yes, there's great content. Yes, there's great experts. But I'd say the number one thing that people get from these things is the energy. And it's that energy. It's that, I know this is where I'm going. This is my why, and I'm going to actually make it because I'm not the only one in this world that has issues. And I'm also not the only one that's having wins. And just that togetherness really is what makes all the difference in the universe. And so, yeah, we're throwing these little things around the world, around the world. So our next ones are going to be London, December 1st. By the way, we're having a full one-day event. That is, again, something that no one's ever done before. I found a venue that allows me to play. And the way that we're setting this thing up, no one's ever seen anything like it. So I'm really excited about that one. And then we're going to be in Miami, Clearwater, Austin, Texas, New York, and then Los Angeles, as well as Sydney. So those are going to be our holiday parties, but all of our holiday parties are going to have an extra layer to them because as much as I love the togetherness of the holiday parties, I feel like what you guys need more than anything is support and what's going to really help you guys be more effective. So anyway, that's the whole thing. San Diego, you guys should be there unless you're giving birth or have some real reason not to go. It's a hop, skip, and a jump from most places in the US. Beautiful environment. We're going to have an amazing time. Love to see you there. And then, yes, guys, any last, like, you're just heaven for me. Like, because my job is to get, value to the people. So I can literally, you guys just talk and it's magical. So just any last thing that you can give these guys on, mindset, impact, anything that you can just tell them that's going to help give them that extra little, like that star power I was telling you about with the Mario Kart. What would be that Mario star for you?
The thing I'll say is, so I live in San Diego. I think it's the greatest city in the world. That's why I live here. And also first week of October is like the best season. Also, the weather's amazing, the water's amazing, and also it's low tourist season too. So to me it's the best. One thing I'll say is that we went to the Amazon Accelerate conference, and like Kevin and Yoni said, like it's kind of they're reading off a teleprompter, and it's all like press releases, and it's all like Amazon official stuff, and you don't get a lot of hacks. Right? You don't get a lot of those like little tips that kind of give you the edge. Well, that's why the Amazon events are not as cool as these kind of industry leader events, because we can give you the hacks. And one thing I'll say about Kevin is how frustrating he is, because when he gives me 21 hacks, I'm like, oh man, you just give me 25 hours of work to do over the next 3 weeks because everything's so actionable, right? I'm like, oh.
I can vouch for that.
Tweet or not tweeting, we call it Slack messaging, whatever. My team, I'm like, okay, look at tip number 4. Kevin said to go do this thing. Like, I bet you we can get that done by Friday. You think, hey, can you get that done by Friday? Let's get this set up and stuff like that. So like, I just love how actionable everything is from Kevin.
I appreciate that.
What's your star, Kevin?
What's my star? A lot of people say out there is like, oh, is this Amazon thing? Is it jump the shark? Is it too late to, I'm having some troubles. I'm having trouble getting traction or getting things going. This is the best business opportunity in the history of man, and it still is. Was it easier 7 or 8 years ago? Absolutely, it was a lot easier. But now, if you approach it with the right mental attitude and the willingness to learn and put in the work, you can change your life, and you can meet some awesome people that think like you. Even if you're not, don't become the next gazillionaire. There's a lot of ways to actually get fulfillment beyond just money or business success. It's being around other people, and it's being around other people that think like you and understand you. And that's part of what you get. So if you can do this business and make a nice little living and be comfortable, and also surround yourself with some like-minded, really cool people that are just as eager to succeed as you and that entrepreneurial spirit, there's nothing better than it. So if you're having some trouble out there right now, and you're struggling a little bit, just keep at it. Just treat it as a learning experience. You're getting your undergraduate degree, And the next time you appear, you're doing it, you're getting your master's, and pretty soon you're going to have your PhD, and you're going to be crushing it. Just keep at it. Don't give up. If there's you're having some hard times, don't be persuaded and go off to the next shiny object that you see on Facebook. Someone saying, do AI Kindle books and you can make a fortune. Don't do that. Stick with this. Stick with the fundamentals. Do it properly. Hacks are great. Like what Andrew says, I give some of those out, but hacks are little tools. That's not just stick with the fundamentals and the foundation. That's where the success comes, is staying with those foundations and those fundamental things. And the hacks can help you move you along and help you maybe solve a specific problems, but hacks come and go. Fundamental things don't. So stick with that, and you'll have a good chance of succeeding.
Love that, Kevin, so much.
Can I add on that?
No,
Sorry, Yanni, you
it's too good. No, it's too good. Go ahead. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
So-
juicy. He gives you so much juice. You gotta,
Oh,
Go
man,
ahead.
I love it. So there's a lot of people I talk to who do struggle because business is hard, right? You don't get outsized returns without having outsized risk and effort to put into it, right? So yeah, there are times when we struggle, even if you're getting started, or even if you're at that million or multi-million-dollar mark. There are struggles, right? Cash flow is never solved. When you're doing millions, you still have cash flow issues because it's hard,
You
right?
want
You
to
have
do
to
more.
buy
You want to
inventory.
do more. You want to keep growing. Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's this thing we call the valley of despair, the trough of despair, right? So you get really excited. If you watch a graph, you see that you get really excited. You get the training course, or you hit the 7-figure mark or the 8-figure mark. You're really excited for the up, and then there's some stuff that happens, and you kind of lose effort, and another thing happens, and you lose steam, and you're in this trough of despair, right? That's when you kind of dip down
The
in our
dark
emotions, right? So the big thing that separates people who are successful and not successful is that people who are successful understand that they will hit that trough of despair, that they will have that hard time. And when you see it, you just embrace it. You say, here it is. Here's the part. Here's the step. Here's the shit that I walk through before I get to the successful part. This is the conflict in the story that when I resolve the conflict, I'll have the crescendo and I'll have the happy ending, right? So if you are at that point, then just keep going, right? I love what Kevin said there. It's not all rainbows and sunshine. So if you are at that spot, just keep going and you will be successful eventually.
Most successful people, just to add to that, have failed. I've declared bankruptcy in 1998. I declared bankruptcy, built myself back out of that. In 2001, we shut down a company that we started in 2000. Actually, we shut down in 2022, but we kind of let it go off into 2021. We lost $1.3 million selling on Amazon. And a lot of people, if you lose $1.3 million selling on Amazon off of a particular product, you would be the heck with this. Amazon is the devil. But no, we did everything right, and we did everything right, like everything right. We did a case study on this in the $1 Billion Seller Summit about a year ago, and showed it. I think Yoni might have seen it, and we showed exactly how we did everything right, from the branding to the launching to everything, and it's still, we lost 1.3 million bucks. But does that deter me from Amazon or like doing it again? No, we're doing it again, and I learned from that, and that's just part of it. That's part of business. You have some wins and you have some losses, but just keep at it.
You're $1 million smarter now, Kevin, because you spent $1 million on that lesson.
Well, luckily, only 280,000. That was my money, but there's 4 other partners, so we got to share. But it's pretty painful when you have a seller's funding. I guess they're called seller's fi now. You have a seller's fi loan for $300,000 that you personally guaranteed, and you have no money coming in from Amazon. You have to tell them, switch that from your business account to my personal account to take those payments out. And that's a nice little hit every 2 weeks, but that's part of the game.
That's Ivy League tuition paid.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
There you go.
Okay, Yoni, the floor is yours.
I'll keep it short. I don't want to overwhelm the crowd. It's a jungle out there. Find your people, find your clan, nourish each other, and stick with it, and you'll do just fine.
I love that. Can you also describe for me what that beautiful rebranded symbol is there, please, Yoni?
It'll take a whole hour.
So you have your mirror on. I think it's back. It's on my screen.
Yeah. How do I flip it? Oh yeah, because we see it, but I think the regular folks see it.
Makes people pay attention.
Everybody's flipped. Is it my only flipped, or
you're the only one flipped?
Oh man. Okay, so virtual background. How do I flip it? I don't even know. First time I use this system. Anyway, so there's like 8 points to this logo. It's a small little logo, but in short, it just we look, see the arrow goes to the back and then it goes to the other side because we look back 18 months, we recover all this lost funds, and that hopefully gets reinvested in the business, and that paves the way forward. So the new slogan is more than money back. It's the way forward. So
That fits so perfectly.
That's legit. That's cool.
That is so cool. And that fits so perfectly with what we were just talking about. And so, yeah, guys, I would love to see you in San
there we go.
There
I
it
got
is.
it.
Yes.
Man, I wasted a whole hour. I didn't know. I thought it was because when I go on Google, it mirrors anyway, but it looks normal. But anyway, it's the first time I use this restream, so I do apologize for the 55
great.
minutes of mirror screening. So here it is.
No, it's
This
perfect.
glory. Yeah.
I love that so much. Okay, cool, guys. So thank you so much for taking the time to jump on here. And I think what you guys all three said just brings so much wisdom. You know, entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. And I even say that when we talk about, you know, who Titan's for and who it's not. It's for entrepreneurs who have it in them to keep going. And I think that Amazon is such an amazing platform. I mean, the amount of people I've seen that I don't know how on earth there's a way for somebody who, you know, just didn't have that trajectory in their life. You know, the idea of being a multi-million-dollar business owner is created in this like golden age. Like, I still have to pinch myself sometimes, you know. Sometimes we take it for granted and we think, oh, this is hard, or that happened, or this thing happened, or that thing happened. From your home, for most of us, you can build a business selling physical products to people without a physical store, and you can literally turn it into a multi-million-dollar business that can secure your kids' future, can retire your parents, and can give you a life that you only dreamed of. I mean, that is magic. And so our job here is to support you in that dream. And I think that, you know, these little events that we are putting on is a great way to do that. And I think that it would be really great to have you there. You're going to get access to brilliance like Kevin and Andrew, and the tremendous amount of resource and experience that Yoni has put forward, and Aton and Rob and the whole team over there. They're like our family, and we love them so, so much. So again, thanks so much for everyone for jumping on here. Wish you nothing but success. Hope to see you guys in San Diego. And here's what we'll do, guys, just in case any of these links or things are not quite working out, you can always just reach me at Athena@titannetwork.com. If you're trying to reach Kevin, you know, Yoni, if you have a question for Andrew, if there's any resource that we talked about, anything at all, just go ahead and message me, and I'll make sure to get in touch with you and get you to the right person. And I can't, oh, here, I'll type it again because I can't find the actual link. So I'll put that in here. And then, yeah, guys, also our holiday parties are going to be beautiful, so you don't want to miss those as well. Here, oh, did I just give you my personal email? I did. That's okay. You can have that too. Whatever. My world is open to you. Okay, cool. Athena@titannetwork.com, or if you want to use my personal, there it is. AthenaSeveri@gmail.com. That's how much I'm open to you guys. Okay? Perfect. So thank you. You guys are amazing. And
Take care, everybody.
One last round. How do they find you, Andrew?
Instagram. I like Instagram a lot. I post half the stuff that are my cute babies and half the stuff are Amazon hacks. So the Andrew Erickson on Instagram. I read and reply to all my DMs. So go ahead, DM me if you want.
Beautiful. Kevin, how do they find your amazing newsletter and potentially $1 billion summit? How do they find you?
Yeah, I just got on LinkedIn about a month ago, so I was late to the party and just got on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a good way to reach me, and or billiondollar-sellers.com is the newsletter. $1 billion Sellers Summit is the summit, but billiondollar-sellers.com. Get on that, you'll know everything.
Love it, Yoni.
I believe it's gatita.com/Titan. Let me see.
Titan
Yep.
Network.
There we go.
Titan.
No, just Titan or Titan Network, either way, but Titan will be shorter and easier. So gatita.com/Titan. So you're good to go.
Okay, perfect. And shout out to Steven, says you guys are all inspiring. And so are you, Steven. We love you so much. And everyone, watch Lunch with Norm on next week, Friday. We're all going to be joining in, and it's going to be a giant party. And Norm also brings a tremendous amount of value to our industry. We love him very much. So that's about it. Thanks again for everyone being on here, and we'll see you next time.